Question: what does the giving of the Torah, the golden calf, the book of Ruth, and Psalm 67 have in common? Shavuot or Pentecost? Beyond the current Jewish traditions of wheat and cheesecake lies a much deeper story. A divine plan woven through the generations. A plan that begins with the people of Israel, but was never meant to stay only with us. A plan to redeem the entire world.
One holy day, 4 stations. Each one marks a significant event from the scriptures that took place on or is deeply connected to the festival of Shavuot.
Let's start at the first station, the giving of the Torah and the golden calf. The Book of Jubilees, a Jewish book written in the 2nd century BC, tells us that the covenant at Mount Sinai and the giving of the Torah took place on the Feast of Weeks, Shavuot. The Jewish sages confirm this as well. According to Jubilees, God gave the Torah to Moses through the angel of his presence, the very angel that rabbinic literature identifies as Yeshua, the minister of the presence, the angel of his face. At Mount Sinai, Jewish tradition says that the divine voice divided into 70 tongues of fire, so that every nation could hear and understand. Why 70? In Jewish thought, the number 70 is a symbolic representation of the nations of the world. In this, God was signaling that Israel was to be a light to all peoples, to pass the Torah on throughout the nations. Amazing! Already at Mount Sinai, the Torah was meant to be a blessing for the whole world. But that Shavuot did not end with rejoicing. When Moses descended with the tablets, he found the people worshiping a golden calf, bowing down to a man-made substitute for the living God. Because of their sin, 3,000 Israelites died that day. A day that should have been full of joy and wonder turned to mourning and tragedy. But soon, we'll see how God brought redemption to that very event.
We arrive at the next station, the book of Ruth. According to Jewish tradition, the book of Ruth is read on Shavuot because the story takes place during the wheat harvest. But this book is also a powerful example of how God can take something broken and turn it into a source of blessing.
Ruth came from Moab, a nation born from an improper union between Lot and his eldest daughter. In the Torah, God forbade a Moabite from joining the people of Israel. And yet, God turned Ruth, a Gentile, into a woman of valor. And through her, He chose to bring forth the line of David, and ultimately, the Messiah. Even Boaz, Ruth's redeemer, came from a complicated background. According to the New Testament, he was the son of Rahab the prostitute. And yet, through these very circumstances, God chose to bring redemption not only to Ruth, but to the entire world.
The book of Ruth shows us something remarkable. Where the Torah creates a barrier, it also provides a bridge. According to the Torah, a Moabite like Ruth had no right to join Israel, not even to the 10th generation. But the same Torah commanded that as the widow of an Israelite, a redeemer be found for her, giving her the right to come into the assembly of Israel as an equal member. And so the book ends with hope, the genealogy of King David, with the glimpse of a greater redemption to come.
And this brings us to station 3, the reading of Psalm 67. Psalm 67 is traditionally read on Shavuot because verses 2 to 8 contain 49 words matching the number of days we count the Omer from Pesach to Shavuot.
This opens by alluding to a familiar prayer. May God be gracious to us and bless us and make His face to shine upon us, Selah. This clearly echoes the priestly blessing from Numbers 6:24-26. But notice how the psalm ends. May God bless us still, so that all the ends of the earth will fear Him. The psalmist makes this profound connection that just as the priests are called to bless Israel, Israel itself is called to be a kingdom of priests, to bless the entire world with the knowledge of God and His salvation. We see this hope in how the psalm ends. Let the peoples praise you, O God. Let all the peoples praise you.
But this raises a question. How will the knowledge of God reach the ends of the earth and His salvation extend to every nation? How will Israel bless all the families of the world so that the world in turn blesses the God of Israel?
The answer to these questions brings us to the final station of our journey, the New Testament in Acts chapter 2. Here we read about a pivotal and earth-altering day of Shavuot. The disciples of Yeshua were in Jerusalem when suddenly a sound like a mighty rushing wind came from heaven. Tongues like flames of fire appeared, divided and rested on each of them. They were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other tongues, other languages, as the Spirit gave them utterance.
According to Professor Moshe Weinfeld, this scene echoes the events at Mount Sinai. The tongues of fire resting on the disciples recall the 70 languages of divine speech described in rabbinic literatures. Flames dividing and resting on the elders in the wilderness. Just as those elders received spiritual authority to lead the people of Israel, here the apostles received the Spirit with the authority to bring the message of the Messiah beyond Israel's borders to all nations.
In this moment, we also have the redemption of Shavuot. Remember the 3,000 who died at Mount Sinai because of the sin of the golden calf? The same number, 3,000 people, repented when they heard and believed in the risen Messiah. They were born again on the morning of Shavuot.
3,000 people at Sinai died because of sin. Now, 3,000 people received new life through God's forgiveness in the Messiah.
Through the atoning sacrifice of Yeshua, son of David and descendant of Ruth, through his shed blood, a day of judgment became a day of salvation. The holiday in which the Torah was given on tablets of stone became a holiday where the Torah is written on the heart, not only in the heart of Israel, but in the heart of everyone who believes.